Hi, I think I have muted the entire time. Hi, Jennifer. I'm trying to give more time for more persons to join, like 5 extra minutes, and then we'll start. Welcome everyone that has joined so far. In 4 minutes' time, I'll start. So I just want to give more time for more persons to join the call. So the class was rescheduled because of some technical difficulties and the platform. Before I begin, please feel free to use the comment section. Like if you have anything to say, I'm like viewing the comment section to answer. We're actually supposed to use a Mentally platform, an app called Mentally, and still in the beta phase. So by next week, it should be live. The app is actually live, but they have some like updates to make to the application. So that's the application we'll use for the mentorship phase. So for now, we'll use YouTube. We'll make use of YouTube for now. So that was one of the reasons why the class was shifted from, if you notice, was shifted from I think Monday or so, I guess, to like today, yeah. So just to give you like an update on what happened. So the good thing about YouTube is this class is recorded, so even if you miss some things, maybe due to your network connection or maybe due to mine, you could always rewatch the video. And for those that are unable to join the call right away, they could always rewatch the video, and I'll try to put like a form out before the monthly app is live. I'll try to put a form out so I could get feedback from the class or questions, and if I like give out an assignment, then you could use that Google form to like submit your tasks and stuff like that. So I'll try to make the class as engaging as possible. But for now, we're using YouTube, so I can't really hear your voices, but I can see your comments. So if you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment section. If you have any observation or whatever, just feel free to ask. Hi, Jennifer, and hi, Paul. You're welcome. So in 1 minute time, we'll start. Okay, just to be certain that I'm audible enough, please can you let me know in the comment section if you can hear me? You can just say you can hear me and something like that. Type you can hear me in the comment section so that I'll be sure that I'm not just speaking to myself. So before I begin, if you can hear me, please can you let me know in the comment section? Hi everyone, please if you can hear me, let me know in the comment section. Okay, great. All right. So I think we can begin right away. Yeah, so right now I'm sharing my screen. I'm using this mirror application for because I didn't want to like do a presentation slide because I felt it would be boring. So I want to make it as relatable. I want and engaging as possible. So yeah, so basically for today we're going to be doing like if you read the newsletter, we're going to be doing like an introductory class to technical writing and documentation engineering. And the class, hopefully the class is to last for an hour. But since we weren't able to start till like 11, 10 minutes past, then maybe to like extend to 8, 10 minutes past 8. Let's see how it goes, right? So I wouldn't want to strain or stretch the class longer than expected because it's just an introductory class, right? So yeah, so if at some point you stop hearing me, please just let me know in the comment section. Hi Adekunle, you're welcome. So I was just saying that I don't know if you got me, but I was just saying that if you have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comment section. We're actually supposed to use an application for the mentorship class, and they're currently working on it. That they're actually done, but they need to make certain updates to the application. That's why the class was rescheduled. So I didn't want to like keep rescheduling the class, so I decided to go ahead with the introductory class via YouTube for today, and then depending on how things go, we might still use YouTube, but we'll still use the Mentally app for our mentorship class so that we'll be able to get like I'll be able to get feedback from you guys and give out assignments and tasks and make it in such a way that you're learning and you actually have something you're doing while you're learning something like that. So yeah, so without further ado, let's begin. So my name is Deborah Emini. I'm a senior technical writer and documentation engineer. So basically, I do a lot of technical writing. I write technical articles and I also write documentation and build documentation systems as well and manage documentation systems. So basically, that's what I do, right? I'm also a software developer, a backend developer to be precise. So I work with JavaScript and Node.js. But for today, I'm a senior technical writer, and I did this mentorship class as a giveaway for my birthday, and just restricted to just women at first, the application, but then I made it open to everyone because I saw that a lot of persons were interested in learning about technical writing, not just learning, but starting a career technical writing, right? It's a lucrative field, right? I mean, it's a very lucrative field, and it's vast as well, and it's not all about writing articles. So that's what this mentorship class tends to offer to you guys. So yeah, so let's begin. So I'll start with an introduction to technical writing before I go into documentation um engineering, right? So I'm using this mirror, so it might be kind of slow because like it's like an application I think they use for illustration and stuff, right? But I wanted it to be engaging. So introduction to technical writing. Yeah. So basically what is technical writing? So if you were asked what technical writing was, in simple terms, it's basically an act of transmitting or communicating information effectively. Keyword there is effectively. So basically what that means is that's still a bit ambiguous. So what that means is it simply involves the process of taking complex or technical information and presenting it in such a way that it's easy for the audience to understand. So one of the word I mentioned was complex information. So there's um, complex information. So basically taking complex technical information. So the keyword there is technical. So technical basically means anything that any concept or topic that is unique to a field. So for instance, I'll go deep. into that later. Let me keep flowing. So basically technical writing is about translating complex technical information into and breaking it down. So basically you breaking it let me reduce the text size so it's easier for me. So breaking down this complex information into so the process is taking complex technical information, breaking it down, and then um, getting or writing or translating rather translating the technical information, the complex technical information into simple information, into simpler information rather. So the simpler information is relative to the target audience. So when I say target audience, I mean who you're writing who the content is meant for, who the information is meant for. So it could be users of a product users, it could be developers, it could be a vast or wide audience, right? So simpler information basically means in a way translating the information in such a way that is easy for the target audience to understand. So the whole essence of technical writing is translating complex technical information into a way that's easy for the target audience to understand. So it involves breaking down complex concepts and organizing the information logically using clear language and appropriate formatting, visual aids. So I'm just going to list those on screen so that it's easier for you to grab what I'm saying. I don't know if I can list on this app. Okay, so yeah, okay, yeah, there's a list feature here. So what I mentioned earlier as technical writing involves breaking down complex concepts, right, and organizing them logically. So the first step is breaking down. Um, hi, thank you, Abiodun. My birthday was actually last year November, though. Breaking down complex concepts. She's about breaking down complex concepts and then organizing, organizing, organizing information logically, and via the use of clear language. So I'm going to like break that down via the use of clear language. So how you organize information logically is by using clear language. By clear language, I mean language or grammar that is unambiguous. It's very clear. So unambiguous is basically a synonym of clear. So I'm saying this, basically saying the same thing, but you get what I mean, right? You could always comment in the comment section so I know if you're getting what I'm saying, right? So it doesn't look like I'm teaching myself. Okay, so you see, basically using clear language is using a language that your target audience can understand, and not using ambiguous terms that are so big or complex to understand, right? So that's you. So you organizing information logically. So by logically, I mean there are a series of steps for the way you organize your information in technical writing. So there's a structure that you have to follow. So you have to start with explaining the complex concept. No, sorry, you have to start from explaining the basic concepts before you get to the complex concept. What do I mean? I mean like starting from. I'm still going to give like a practical use case of this. I'm just giving you like an overview right now because this is like an introduction class. So what I mean is, if you're writing a technical content or technical documents, for instance, you're going to start by doing an introduction of what that concept is all about before you go into defining what the particular concept is, and then before you go into practical use cases of the concept. So basically, it's basically when I say organizing information logically, I mean organizing information step by step in such a way that the preceding step builds upon the other. So you won't start explaining something complex, then in between you explain something basic. You get a better understanding when you start trying it out anyway. So I'm just giving you an overview. So even if you're not very clear about what I'm saying right now, you're going to practice it, so it's going to be clear later on. So moving forward, so like I said, technical writing has to do with breaking down complex concepts, organizing information logically, using clear language. Using clear language and employing or using appropriate formatting. Using appropriate formatting. So by formatting, I mean like for instance, if you're using even this app I'm using allows it, you can use like bold text, maybe font size. You know what I mean by formatting, right? You've played around with Google Docs, you should know what I mean by formatting. But you get a better sense of it when you're trying it out. Then also, you technical writing has involves using visual aids. By visual aids, I mean diagrams, diagrams, illustrations, graphs, etc. So the whole point of using visual is to give your target audience a better, that if you're a technical writer, for instance, you're using visual aids, that is illustrations, diagrams, images, yeah, images as well, to give your readers a better sense of understanding of what you're trying to of the message or the information you're trying to pass across. So it simplifies the information you're trying to pass across, and that's the whole essence of technical writing. So technical writing is not, the fact that it's called technical writing does not mean you're going to write something that will confuse people the more. It's actually, companies actually reach out to technical writers because they're looking for a way to, it's actually a broad field though, but I'm just going to simplify it. So companies usually reach out to technical writers because they're looking for someone who would explain their technical terms in a simpler way for their target audience, that is their users or their customers, to understand and be able to use their product, something like that. So you as technical writer, you're not coming to confuse the target audience with technical terms. You're actually coming to make things much clearer. So that's like the whole point of it, right? If I'm saying that in a very simple form, that's like the whole point of technical writing. So I hope that is clear. So yeah. So right. So basically all this is to aid or enhance comprehension. That's the whole point of all this. So what else? What else? So there's something I need to also mention. So there are key, when you start learning technical writing, there are key terms that you should take note of. Clear, let me write that down. Clear, so there are three key terms that you should take note of. Um, so they include okay, I thought I typed three here. So there are three key terms. So the first one is the, I keep forgetting I'm not using Google Docs. So I keep, okay, so the first one is clear. Let me use the numbered, this thing. This is going to be so stressful. So let me use the numbered, what do you call it? Field or whatever. So clear, concise. So these are the key terms that you should master, that it's important to master as a technical writer. So concise, clear, concise, and accessible. So clear, I've already like explained what I mean by clear. So by concise, you wouldn't want to bore your readers with plenty text. So if you're trying to clarify technical information to your target audience, you would not want to use so much redundant information, that's repetitive information, necessary information, or technical, they call it technical jargon anyway. You won't want to use that. You want to make your grammar, your language, your text, your content as concise as possible, because like I said, the point is not just to write, the point is to clarify technical information for your audience. So when you use a lot of redundant information when you're writing, or you use so much words, and when you can just be straightforward, and you decide to use jump and beat around the bush, or whatever they call it, right? You're not being concise. So that's like something you need to master in technical writing. You have to be concise. So it's not like content. I don't know about content writing, anyways, but it's not like writing a novel or stuff like that. Then accessible, like I said, whatever you're writing should be accessible to the intended audience. So in technical writing, for whatever technical information you write, like I mentioned earlier, the word technical in technical writing basically means any particular topic that is unique to a particular field. So it means that whatever technical documents you're preparing as or writing as technical writer, or creating as a technical writer, it has a defined target audience. So there's always a target audience. So that's why whatever you're writing as technical writer, you have to have it at the back of your mind that it has to be accessible to the intended audience. That's what that means basically. So I hope that's clear. All right. So moving forward, I'm going to give you like scenarios, examples to make everything I said a bit more clearer. So imagine that, like more like real use, I think use cases, so that you can have a picture of where you can come in as a technical writer, like your role as a technical writer. So for instance, imagine that you just purchase a new smartphone, right? And you need to set it up. You need to set up the smartphone. So, for instance, there's this instruction manual that comes with the phone. So you have a smartphone. There's an instruction manual that comes with the phone. Let's just call that the user manual. So this instruction manual that comes with the phone provides step-by-step guidance on how to turn on the phone, for instance. Um, so it provides step-by-step guidance on, let's say, how to turn on the phone, how to turn on the phone, how to turn on the phone, then on setting up like your account. So set up your account, set up your account, or basically how to use, and also rather how to use its features, how to use the features of the phone, right? So it consists of clear and concise instructions and on how to do these three things. So you bought a new phone and it comes with a user manual or an instruction manual, whatever, that shows you how to turn on your phone, how to basically use the phone, how to set up the phone, how to understand the various aspects or features of the phone, or how to use the phone and stuff like that. So that's like an example. That's a form of technical writing. That user manual is a form of technical writing. So it's basically the whole point of this user manual, right, is for users who might struggle to, for instance, or utilize the advanced features like camera settings or application downloads and stuff like that. So basically, the whole point of the user manual is to guide you as the buyer of the phone, that you're the user of that product. So if it was like an iPhone you purchased or something, or like yeah, like for instance, if you purchase an iPhone, you're an Apple user, right? So you're like, this user manual that comes with that iPhone is showing you how to do this particular thing. So that's like a form of technical writing. So it's, you're the intended audience, you're the user, and then this user manual is meant for you to explain these things in a form, like a step by step guidance. So it's not just anyhow, it's not just written anyhow, it's actually step by step guidance. So that, I want you to like take note of that step by step guidance, because it's very important, because that's like basically what you're going to be doing as technical writer. So yeah. Right. So let me give you another instance. So if you work in the medical field, if you're a medical doctor here, or you're conversant with the medical field, yeah. So I don't know if you've heard of or seen a medical brochure. Is it brochure or brochure? So once you, I think it's brochure, right? Oh yeah. Well, that's what I mean. So for instance, let me move this up. Now you can see. I don't know if you can see the entire document that we're working on. I think I'll get a better app that I can use for this. That's if the mentally app is not up by then. So I'm trying to move this up. Okay, let me just do this. So so for instance, if you have seen a medical brochure before, that's if I'm pronouncing it correctly, though. Okay. So if I'm pronouncing it correctly, please just let me know in the comment section. Let me not embarrass myself. So a medical brochure basically explains, like for instance, the side effects of a particular illness, and let me list that out. So like it explains the side effects of a particular illness, or um, uses instructions for a prescription medication, right? For instance, so like how to use a prescription, or take a prescription, or something like that. So that's what usually contains, right? So what that brochure does is, it's another example of technical writing, actually. So there's something I said I was going to mention initially. I did not want to mention because I didn't want to be faster than my shadow. So technical writing is not just doesn't just apply in tech. So it applies in other fields, right? It might be the first time you're hearing this, but it actually applies in other fields, not just in tech. I know I'm into tech, but it applies in other fields. So like medicine, you could actually work as a technical writer for health tech, or in the health, let me not say health tech again. So like in the medical field, you can work as a technical writer. So you can actually write medical brochures, and basically the whole point of the medical brochure is to um convey. I don't know if I should use the word convey, or I feel the word convey is to be translate or communicate important medical information in a way that patients can easily understand. So the patient should be able to easily understand how they're supposed to take a certain prescription or understand a particular illness that they're dealing with and stuff like that, right? So yeah. So right, cool. So basically the medical literature will use like a clear language, like I said earlier, which is like how every technical, that's basically one of the things, like I mentioned, there are certain things I listed here that you should learn as technical writer. The clear, the concise, and the accessible, right? So the medical brochure will be written in such a way that it's very clear to understand. And so it use a clear language and it will organize the content. I don't know if you've seen a medical brochure before. I've shared my screen to like show you a sample, but you could always Google that out so you can see what I'm talking about. So it uses a clear language and organized content to ensure that the patients understand and are able to take the medication correctly. So basically, the target audience are the patients, right? The patients for that maybe under that particular prescription or the patient suffering from that particular illness. So there's always a target audience, like I said earlier. So that's another field. Another field is engineering. So you can work in engineering as technical writer as well. So in the field of engineering, for instance, maybe stuff that have to do with like building materials or machinery and stuff like that. So you can write detailed documentation documents. Let me write that one out, so just in case my network is lagging and you can't hear me. So for the engineering field is another field that you can work in, the engineering field. And then this field, right, this is so stressful. Okay, so for the field of engineering, I mentioned you can write detailed documents on, you can write detail as technical writer, you can work in the field and you can write detailed documents on things like building materials, right? Building materials, building materials, and on what else did I mention on machinery, like machinery and stuff like that. So you write detailed documents on these kind of topics, right? So imagine you're an architect and you're designing like a new building in the engineering field. I'm not into engineering, so I'll just give you like an instance to the best of my knowledge. So you rely on technical documents that specify the strength, things like durability and other properties of the materials like the concrete and all that stuff, right? I'm not into the engineering field, but I don't know if you get what I mean. So basically, these documents serve to um, serve as a guide most of the time on how to use this machinery, right? So people don't get injured or and stuff like that. So it's usually very comprehensive. Maybe it could point out things like safety, security tips, and all that. So these are like some of the fields that I'm aware of that you can actually work in as a technical writer, right? So that's it. So basically, you just detail how to. I think right, I can work in this use to detail how to use these products or stuff and or guide the target audience on how to use these things or whatever. So I move on to. I think I wanted to talk about the importance of technical writing as well. So what I've been saying so far is like an introduction to technical writing, what technical writing is, and I hope I was able to give you like an idea of what technical writing is. If you've never like understood what it was or what it is, so you at least by now I don't know if you've understood what I mean by technical writing. If you have, please let me know in the comment section if you have. So yeah, for the importance of technical writing now, so I already meant I think I already gave you a clue when I was talking. I already discussed this, but it plays a crucial role in ensuring effective communication within and outside organizations. So the whole point of technical writing, where did technical writing come from? Why is it a field? Why is it even a why should you even take it on as a career? Like what are you going to be doing, right? Stuff like that. So basically organizations are actually looking for ways to communicate their products, right? Communicate their products to their audience, to their users, to their customers. Because when these organizations um, build these products or create these products or push out products, whether in tech or whether in any field, they want their users to be able to use these products. And most of the time, the users might not be able to use these products, right? Not or customers might not be product, for instance. There is that their customers might not even be software developers most of the time. They might not be tech savvy. So they might not understand how to use these products, right? And if the organizations have to explain, or if the developers have to explain to the customers how to use these products, to use product, they might tend to use it. The organization will lose because at the end of the day they won't have users, and if they don't have users, the business will not scale. So if you get what I mean. So that's where you come in as thinker writer to come and help aid this communication within and outside the organization. So clear and screen. So like I think it's better if I list it out. Importance, right? Sorry, importance of technical writing. Importance of technical writing. So to ensure that users understand how to use products, ensure users understand how to use products, second one is, let me spread this out. Let me spread this out so it's better readable. Okay. So ensure users, so one of the important things writing is to ensure that users understand how to use products, right? These products that organizations produce, not you as technical writer, you're not the one producing it, you're not the ones creating those products, or you understand what I mean? So it's the organizations are the ones behind those products, but your role is to help their customers, their users understand how to use their products. Then troubleshoot issues as well. Troubleshoot issues. I'll explain what I mean by troubleshoot issues. So by troubleshoot issues, I mean, like, as a customer, a user of a product, you might have issues using the product. You might have like encounter issues while you're using the product. It could be software product, it could be whatever product it is that you purchase. You might have issue, and you might have like issues or challenges or difficulties using that product. So that is where the technical writer come in to explain those issues. So basically, the technical writer will look for potential issues that the consumer will have. So usually, the technical writer might have to use the product themselves, or maybe do like a research on the common issues that the users of the product are having, and then write a technical document that explains how to deal with these issues prior to when the users will have the issue. So usually, I don't know if you've checked organizations online, but usually when you see organizations or company websites, right, you see a part where they have a blog. They usually have like a blog page, and usually when you go there, you see articles, technical content on how to use their products. It's not just for show, it's not for fancy, it's not because it's just like people writing for them, or it's basically to explain to their customers how to use certain things, and also to foresee the challenges that their customers or users may have with their products, and provide solutions to that problem to aid in helping their users to use the products effectively, right? So that's basically it. So that's for troubleshooting issues. Then also you would also write the one of the important thing writing is also for maintaining equipment. So like maintaining equipment and stuff like that. So that's, I think that's clear. If it's not, you can let me know in the comment section. All right. So it also aids in standardizing procedures and ensuring compliance with regulations. So if there are certain regulations that the customers are supposed to like comply to, or the organizations themselves are supposed to comply to, there is something called procedural document, but I won't want to go into that because we have not gone into the documentation side of things, right? So I'll just pause on that. So that's basically it, right? So, okay. So the scope of technical writing is vast. It's actually very vast, though. It's not just about writing technical articles. It's vast, and it encompasses various types of documents, which we'll cover later on, including like things such as user manuals, product specifications, technical reports, instructional guides. Usually call it like how-to guides, and I won't go into those in depth for now because like we'll cover that later, like practical, we'll do like practicals and all that. So right. So technical writers may also be involved in creating content for websites, software interfaces, training materials, and all of those things, right? Okay, let me see if there's anything I've not covered so far. So let me just go straight into the documentation engineering. Just give you like some introduction. Like this course was like last an hour, right? So I'm going to like give you an introduction to documentation engineering now. So documentation engineering. So let's do documentation engineering. Right. So for the documentation engineering aspects, whew, some persons usually get scared of when it comes to documentation engineering because it's like the more technical side of things. So basically, it involves let me write that down. It involves this like systematic planning. Involves creation and the management of technical documentation. So I think I should list this out properly so you don't get confused. Um, Also, you don't have to worry about all these things I'm writing now. Like when I'll send out the newsletter, like recap of what we covered. So you can always so you don't have to worry about the things you covered in case you need like notes or something to look at or something, whatever. So documentation engineering involves systematic planning, number one, systematic planning, creation, and management of technical documentation. So it involves systematic planning of technical documentation, the creation of technical documentation, and then the management of technical documentation throughout the product life cycle, throughout the product life cycle, throughout the product life cycle, right? So this like call it discipline, it's integrates the principles. It integrates several principles, which I'm going to list out right now. So it integrates several principles like let me just call these documentation engineering principles. Documentation engineering. So right, so it integrates um principles such as technical writing, information design. I'll explain these in detail maybe the next class we have. So I already explained technical writing, but not like in detail, sure, but I think that's fine for now. So information design, project management. Some people say that this is where the money is actually because they usually pay way more for documentation engineering because it's like much more technical. So usually the money is like usually higher than technical writing, like technical content or creating technical articles. So like project management and all that. So these are the principles that it involves or it includes. So basically, these principles are to ensure that the documentation meets the needs of users and stakeholders. Maybe now next class I'm going to show you like examples of documentations and like maybe, like take you to links and sites so you can see like live documentation, understand what I'm talking about. But for this class, it's just going to be like an introduction to these things. So who are documentation engineers, right? So documentation engineers basically play a crucial role in coordinating the efforts of technical writers, subject matter experts, and other team members to produce high quality documentation that supports the goals of the organization, right? So I'm going to like explain this in detail in our next class. I'm trying to meet up with time so that we don't have to stay for long, right? So basically, the major engineers are, I think I'll just write that down so that it's easy for you guys to remember. So the major engineers are the guys that they're the gurus that that basically coordinate the efforts of technical writers, um, subject matter experts. So who are subject matter experts? Subject matter experts are the persons that are the technical know-how. Like they know they have all the technical details. They understand the product. They understand whether it's a developer product, sorry, software product. They understand the ins and outs of that software product. They are the people that you go to get information when you're doing your research as a technical writer. So understand where so they understand the subject matter. That's the topic or the like I said, technical writing has to do with writing about this unique topic, like specific topic, right? So they understand that topic to a very large extent. So the people that you work with or collaborate with throughout the technical writing journey or whatever gig you may have as a technical writer, right? So you're going to work hand in hand with them. So we need to get sufficient information about what you're supposed to write about and all that. So they usually consist of engineers behind the product, maybe developers and all that. So also you it as a documentation engineer, you also coordinate the efforts of other team members. So I said I was going to write this down, right? So I mentioned coordinating the efforts of technical writers. So your role as a documentation engineer, so these are your roles. Let me spread this out so it's easier. These are your roles as a technical engineer, documentation engineer. Sorry. So your role is to, the first one is to coordinate what did I say earlier? To coordinate the efforts of technical writers. Let me spread this out because looking to mouth. All right. Then secondly, I mentioned subject coordinate the efforts of technical writers. Let me list this out like this: technical writers, subject matter experts. Matter experts. They're called SMEs for short. You can call them SMEs for short. So subject matter experts and other team members. So your role um, is to produce high quality documentation, high quality to produce high quality documentation, produce high quality documentation that supports the organization goals or the goals of the organization, right? Let me just say goals of the organization. So the organization, like I said, you're working for an organization, right? So you're creating high quality documentation and all that. So when I say documentation, there are actually different types of documentation, which would explain. We'll go into detail. Who wants to start listing out the types? I think I did earlier though, but like I would want to list them out when we're doing like a more practical class, right? So that's basically it for now. Um, for now, I will stop here so that I want to make this class as short as possible because it's like an introductory class. So the next class we could focus on doing more practical use case or and stuff like that. So yeah, do you have any questions for me though? Let me use the time we have left to answer questions. Just you can drop your questions in the comment section and I'll see them and answer. All right. I've been speaking for like how many minutes now? So it's your turn to say something or type something. So any questions for me before we end the class? Any questions? Okay, so let's give it like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. See if you're typing any of your questions. Okay, so how many times do we have class per week? That's not defined to be honest, because I don't think it's defined now because the monthly app that we're supposed to use for the mentorship class it's not up yet. It's actually they have some updates to make to the application. So by next week we should know how many classes we'll have per week, but it should be like 3 or 2 per week, depending on my schedule as well. Do you need to be okay? So Paul has a question. Do you need to be a good technical writer before becoming a project manager? Woo! That sounds like a question for a project manager, right? So I don't really have an answer for that because I'm not a project manager. So maybe if the question was directed to technical writing. Um, but are you a project manager? Are you asking this because you're a project manager? Please let me know if you're asking because you're a project manager. Good evening. Thank you for your time and effort. Please, I want to know how long someone will take to become a technical writer. You can actually become a tech writer in a week. But it depends on the field you're focusing on. If you're doing documentation engineering, it take you longer than that actually. Like I said, technical writing is actually a vast field. I'm going to you would find out how vast it is by maybe our next class or next classes will have. Hello, will the recording of the lecture be available? Yeah, it's YouTube. So once the class is done, you can always rewatch the video. Is it a must to write stuff you learned, or what are really the wise people do it? Sorry, nano designer. Please, can you clarify what you mean? Your question is I don't really get your question. Is it a must to write stuff you learned, or what are really the wise people do it? Please, can you clarify what you what you mean? Because I don't really get it. Are you talking about when you're learning like a technology and writing about what you're learning? Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean? Hi, nano designer. Do you mean okay, I am not a project manager, but I want to go into technical writing and project management. I think they're intertwined. Okay. I think you should focus on one at a time. Maybe focus on technical writing first, and then before you go into project management, maybe learn one before you go into the next. That's my suggestion, anyways. I'm not a project manager, so I would, I'm limited to technical writing. Yeah. Hi, Nano Designer. Do you mean? I don't know if you got my question. Your question was not clear enough, so I'm asking if you mean why you're learning, like let's say JavaScript or any technology, and then you decide to write what you're learning about. Is that what you mean? Um, Hi, Paul. I think you can actually be a technical writer without being a project manager. Like I'm a senior technical writer, and I'm not a project manager. So, I see quite a number of people write about stuff they recently learned or discovered or probably built or worked on. Does it really help in any way? Yeah, it does. It actually does. Writing about, from my own personal experience, writing about what you learn, it was actually how I started technical writing. I didn't even know it was like a career path. I was there writing about what I was learning. Then I was think I was learning Node.js and I was writing about it. And what my whole point of writing, or the reason why I was writing, was to understand what I was learning. I felt like if I learned, like let's say from tutorial or documentation, and then I build an application and I write about it, how I built it, it will make me understand it better and also be able to like refer back to the article in case I need any information, and also can sort of give back to the tech community because I'm like a fan of tech community. So that was like my idea, my whole idea behind it. So I feel it's actually a very good. It actually helps also in getting jobs. Like in getting jobs, it shows that you know your stuff. It shows what you're learning, and it helps. You can also use it to build your network as well. When you write what you're learning and share it on like your social media platforms, for instance, LinkedIn, people know that okay, this person is good at this. On organizations or job recruiters can also view your profile based on that. It helps a lot actually. Helps you put you out there, put your work out there. You're welcome. So we have 7 minutes to the end of the class. I think we should start rounding up. Say, are there any other questions or comments, observations, anything? We have 7 minutes. So, um, any questions for me? Going, going. Okay. Okay, you can tell us briefly about what to expect in our next class. I'll send out via the newsletter, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, I don't want to like just say it. I would want to give you a more detailed brief. So yeah, what do you think is the time duration to learn technical writing before working? Um, Before working, the total time duration depends on you, and also like depends on um getting the jobs as well. So like I'm not going to tell you that after like 1 month you're going to start working as a technical writer. It depends on a lot of factors actually, on how fast you're willing to learn, not just learn, how fast you, for instance, if you're going for technical writing and let's say writing of technical articles, you have to like write a couple of technical articles, right? That are good. Put it out on your blog and then start applying for roles and gigs and all that. So or freelance contracts and stuff like that. Or if you're going for documentation engineering, it take you a longer time actually because that's like more technical. And then you have to like write documentation, maybe API documentation or build a documentation system, learn how to use static site generators. There are a lot of things to do in that aspect, and then build your portfolio before you start applying for jobs. And also your years of experience matters, but most of the time these companies look for at your years of experience. They might look to see whether you have 1 year experience, 2 years, 3 years, if you're a junior technical writer or a senior technical writer. It depends on a whole lot of factors. So I don't think you should be in a hurry, right? Just chill. Focus on putting on your work or building stuff or writing stuff, sorry. I have article ideas. Will there be opportunities for us to submit for review? Sure. Yeah, I'll make that possible after I write it. Yeah, sure. I think the Mentally app is supposed to allow that, so I'll make that possible. How long does it take someone to be complete? It depends on a lot of factors, like I said. Like it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on how fast you are, or it depends on a lot of factors. And it also depends on practice. Like you can't just learn it, you have to write. So by writing you get better. The more you keep writing, the more you get better, and then you become very competent. So also, are there stacks in technical writing? Do you need to have a portfolio of technical stacks? You mean like tech, right? Like knowing how to maybe write code. It depends on the aspect you're going into, which I'll cover in the next class. Just remind me that question, please. Can you just remind me in the next class, and I'll go to. Because if I start talking about it now, it would exceed the time we're supposed to spend for this class. So just remind me in the next class. All right. So we have 4 minutes left. Um. Yeah. 3 minutes left. Okay. Are there any other questions or observations? Also, would you guys, I don't know if the Mentally app supports that. I'll find out because I'm not one of the developers. Um, would you like love? Would you guys love a platform where you can like communicate with each other? Maybe I could create like a Discord platform or a Slack platform or what platforms you like. I'll add that in like this newsletter so you can choose maybe like a poll if it's possible. So you can choose the platform that you feel most comfortable with to connect with each other. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Okay, sure. I'll add that to the newsletter. Okay, we have 2 minutes to end of the class. Um, oh, it was nice. It was really nice doing this with you guys. Yeah. Yeah, there's actually a recording. This is YouTube, so immediately we're done with the class. You can rewatch the video. So yeah. All right, bye everyone. Have a lovely evening. If you're in Nigeria, if you're in other countries, have a lovely day. Okay, bye. Bye everyone. See you next time. I'll communicate in the next class via the newsletter so you know when we're having the next class. You can also subscribe to the channel so maybe you get notified. I don't know how YouTube works, but I think you might get notified if I schedule a class, just in case you miss the newsletter. Bye guys. Bye.